So I wanted to do my take on Biden's signing into law the nonsense about Juneteenth being a federally recognized holiday. I don't think it's ridiculous that it's a federally recognized holiday. I think that it should have been a federally recognized holiday and that should have been declared actually under Abraham Lincoln, and hope maybe he would have declared it a federally recognized holiday if that dipshit didn't blow his brains out in the frickin' theater there. But my point is I full heartedly or wholeheartedly agree with making Juneteenth a federally recognized holiday. My only problem with it is the stupid ass name, Juneteenth. Like, the hell is that? Why don't you call it like Emancipation Day or Liberty Day or Freedom Day or I don't know, something like that. I think it's absolutely insane that it's called Juneteenth. I think that is the dumbest freaking name for it, and they should come up with a better name. That's my opinion. To go further, I didn't like how he brought up the Dylan Roof thing. I do think that he's pandering to the radical left to continue to get the praise of the radical left while he does the bidding of the more centrist and right-leaning centrist Democrats and Republicans. He is doing a good job at that, but I don't like that he brought up the Dylan Roof thing. What many people don't know about the whole Dylan Roof nonsense that happened, nobody supported that. Not even hardcore white supremacists supported what Dylan Roof did. People have this imaginary idea that people that believe in the white race and believe in the sanctity of the white race and these things, they believe that somehow these people promote violence against other people. And that's patently untrue. It's not true at all. In fact, if you look at who's committing the violence in this country, it's not white supremacists by any stretch of the imagination. It is black people. And that's the thing is, like, when people say we have a gun violence problem, we do not have a gun violence problem. If you look at who's committing the violence, we have a black violence problem. If you look at the violence against Asians, and I'm going to leave links to all this in the description. If you look at violence against Asians, predominantly, particularly per capita, but predominantly anyway, the violence is committed by black Americans, okay? If you look at violence against Hispanics in the United States, the predominant perpetrators are black Americans. If you look at violence against Jewish Americans, predominantly the violence comes from African Americans. I don't like that, because what this does is this furthers the myth that somehow blacks are the victims of whites. That's an extremely rare case of man bites dog. It's not happening. Not in any appreciable amount. He did not mention Autumn Pasquale. He did not mention Cannon Hinnant. He did not mention Jessica Whittaker. He did not mention the Channon, Channon and Newsom torture, murder nonsense where they cut the guy's penis off and set him on fire and tortured her to death. After brutally raping her over and over again. They didn't mention the little 11-year-old Mexican girl in Texas that was gang raped by 28 black men and boys. He didn't mention a lot of the problems. When we say we have a crime problem in the United States, we do. But look where that crime problem is. That crime problem is coming from one particular group of Americans predominantly. And Trump did the same thing, except he tried to make it look like Hispanics were committing all these crimes. Oh, the evil Hispanics are coming here. And like I pointed out, you could add up all of the crimes committed by all 100% of the Hispanics in this country. Okay, whether they're here legally or illegally, if they committed a crime and they got caught committing a crime, we know they committed a crime. You can add up all of the crime statistically of Hispanics in the United States. all of the crime committed by Hispanics in the United States does not equal the amount of black crime. And blacks only make up roughly 13%. I think it might be actually up to 20% of the population at this point. But it's not a large enough amount of the population to make it appear as though to make the numbers what they are. It's not, they don't make up a large enough portion of the population to make it make the numbers what they are and not have them committing outrageously high, disproportionate amounts of the crime. And people will go, it's poverty. It's poverty. Really? Because NBA players, NFL players, multi-millionaires that are paid millions and millions and millions of dollars are still committing violent crime. Okay, now I fully support Juneteenth being named a federal holiday. I'm glad that it is. I don't believe in slavery. I don't think anybody should. And as weird as it sounds, I don't think many people do. Now, what's funny is people have the same problem as me. There was one gentleman, and I'm going to put links to videos that he made that are absolutely ridiculous. His name's TW. And I think he's an Ethiopian, but my point is the stuff that he's promoting is the typical stereotypical nonsense. One of the videos is people that think that Africa was a country and that Mufasa was the president of the country. No white person thought that. You might have run into an African American that thought that, but no white person thought that. But the thing is, if America is such a horribly racist country, why is everybody from Africa coming over here? Why aren't they staying in Africa? Okay, why is everybody from Latin America coming over here? Now, there is a lot of racism against Latin Americans in the United States, but it's not coming from white people. Now, look at the attacks on the Asians. The Asian community has been virtually, completely terrorized by the black community in the United States. Okay, and this is all easily provable. And this is the thing, I can prove everything I'm saying. And people go, white people commit crime too. White people commit crime too. Yes, they do, but not in the same proportions. And if white people were committing these acts of terrorism against the Jewish community, and there'll be one-offs like the shooting, the synagogue shooting in, where the hell was that? I think Pittsburgh or Harrisburg. I know it was in Pennsylvania, but I don't really give a damn. But that shooting is a one-off compared to the hundreds of attacks per year, if not thousands of attacks per year. We don't even know, because I guarantee you not all of them are reported, that take place throughout the country against Jewish people by black Americans. It's not white supremacists attacking Jewish people. It's black Americans. In fact, I don't even know of any white supremacists that promote violence, because most white supremacists actually agree with using the system the way it is. To use the system, and which is absurd because the system is so stacked against white people in this country, it's insane. But most white people that I know of, they actually do agree with this country, and they do agree with making use of the political apparatuses or apparati of this country to get what needs to be done. And all that most so-called white supremacists are looking for is for everyone, white, black, Hispanic, Asian, etc., to be treated equally, be treated for who they are and what they can do, and basically who they are on the inside, and not the color of their skin, which is what's going on, or their race, which is what's going on, and which is being promoted by the radical left and by black people in the United States who want special privileges. The other thing is, black on gay violence is appreciably higher than other groups committing acts of violence against gays. And it's interesting because you would think, because the way the media portrays these things, that the reverse is true. That you would think that white people are going around attacking. It was funny, there was a black woman in one of the comment sections. I made a video. I took it down because I didn't want my channel to get taken down for it, about the whole George Floyd thing, and I was talking about what it's like to arrest somebody as a security guard. And in the video, I pointed out, there were a couple times I've had to arrest black Americans, and not one time did I ever hurt anybody arresting them. Okay? And she accused me of going around and finding black people to beat up. This is what black people really think that people do. And, no, nobody's going around, not police anyway, not that I'm aware of. I do know of police that are very, very prejudiced against white people, that tend to be Hispanics and blacks. But the other thing, in closing on this video, what people need to understand, what white people need to understand, stop the bullshit. Stop trying to reach out to Asians and Hispanics and all these other people. It ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. Everybody goes, oh, well, maybe they'll recognize that this is happening and then they'll see the truth. They'll see the truth. They're not gonna see the truth. It doesn't matter what happens to Asians or Hispanics. They hate white people. That's just the truth. Now, people go, doesn't that go against your ideas of Pan-Americanism? No, it doesn't. It doesn't, because I'm talking about the Hispanics in this country. What many people don't understand, this is what I find very interesting. My friend from Argentina could never understand why so many Americans have such a tiff towards Latin Americans. We don't get the Latin Americans that stay in Latin America. That's what people aren't understanding. We get the ones. Why do people come to America? The American dream, right? It's the American dream. They want to live the American dream. Well, to them, and I know this from people, it's not just people from Latin America or Africa or Asia. It's people from Russia. It's people from Bosnia. It's people from the Middle East. It's people from everywhere. All the American dream is to them is cash, 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 and free shit. Free welfare, free medicine, and they're getting it. They're getting so when people say, oh, we don't have enough money for socialized medicine, apparently we do, as long as the person's not an American white. If you're African American or Latino or a foreigner, you're getting everything. And I know, because I worked in mental health. I saw it with my own eyes. And nobody's getting deported, and it's not what people think it is, okay? So my point is these people coming from Latin America, like my friend from Argentina, everybody in America hates Latin Americans. That's because I said this about the Italians. What people don't understand is the United States did not get the same Italians as did Brazil, as did Argentina, as did Latin America. We got the Italians that were communist anarchists that wanted to destroy our country. That's what the kind of Latin Americans we're getting. We're getting the kind of Latin Americans that hate America, that hate white people, that think that Mexico owns the whole southwestern United States. And this is what, I'm going to throw this out there because I'm tired. I'm just tired of Mexicans thinking they own from Florida all the way over to Colorado, okay? No, you don't. The Aztec Empire was very, very small. Now, Mexico, the Aztecs called themselves the Mexicans, or Mexicans, or however you say it. I don't know how to say it in their language. But the fact of the matter is, the Aztec Empire was tiny compared to Mexico, or the Spanish-American Empire. So if Mexico is so proud about being Aztec, they have more than the Aztec Empire at this point. Okay? But my point is the Spanish-American Empire is what Colorado and all that, and we defeated them. A couple times the United States had to put Spain in its place over the parts of the continental United States that Spain thought they had control over, but they weren't maintaining because Spain didn't run its colonies. Spain let its colonies collapse and everybody act like wild animals, and then all the slaves were escaping to the Spanish-controlled areas, and the Indians were committing raids against U.S. citizens and then going back to Spanish-controlled territory because there was no law and order in the Spanish-controlled territory. Literally how we got Florida was basically the government of the United States told Florida, look, either get your colony
in order so that the Seminoles and the escaped slaves quit coming into U.S. territory and attacking our people, the Cherokee and the whites that were there, and killing them and raping them and taking their stuff and taking them and, kidnapping them and things like that, or we're just going to take it from you. And Spain basically gave the United States Florida because they didn't see any reason in having it, because there was no Ponce de Leon, fountain of youth there, or gold, or anything like that. So the fact of the matter is, the parts of the continental United States that belong to Spain, they belong to Spain, not Mexico. Spain. That was not part of the Aztec Empire. That was part of Spain, the Spanish-American Empire. And a lot of Latinos, Francisco Franco wanted to reassert dominance over Latin America. That's all well and good. That's Francisco Franco. Wow, that really lasted a long time over there, huh? My point is and Puerto Rico and Cuba, if you read, what's his face's book, Teddy Roosevelt's book, we had to kick Spain out of Puerto Rico and Cuba. There would be no Castroist Cuba. This is what's funny. There would be no Castroist Cuba if the United States did not liberate Cuba from Spanish domination. Why we didn't just take Cuba as a territory is beyond my recollection, because Cuba looks like was a lot nicer of an island than is Puerto Rico. Okay, so I don't quite grasp that one. That's beyond my grasp. But my point is these people that have these weird, idiotic concepts about how this country is supposed to function, or that this country is somehow unrepentantly racist, or that slavery is the original sin of the United States. In case people are wondering, who fought the war to liberate the slaves? It wasn't Black Americans, it was white Americans. Okay? It was white Americans murdering their white brothers, sisters, fathers, uncles, etc. Okay? To liberate a people that are indignant and don't want, they want their freedom, but they want everything else too. And it's funny because Ghana had invited African Americans back to Ghana. Okay? I think that as many African Americans that as want to move back to Ghana should do so to explore their destiny free of white intervention. Okay? That's what should happen. I would love it if President Biden would do something to help repatriate American blacks to a territory, or to create reservations in the United States to allow them to explore their own destiny free from the influence of the whites. I think that would be a wonderful idea, but that's probably not going to happen. My point with this video is, Juneteenth. I love Juneteenth. I just wish they would name it something better than Juneteenth. I also want to say, former President Trump is right about one thing. I had no idea what the hell Juneteenth was until he used it to try and pander to Black Americans. And that's all for this video. Check the links in the description, though. Please check the links in the description. Please follow the links in the description. There are good links in that description to show where the violence is coming from, to show where the crime's coming from. Stop believing the nonsense that there's some kind of horde of eager white supremacists trying to harm people. That's not the case. It never was the case. And that's all for this video.